I'm about to nuke the whole city like North Korea. Are you ready?
Walked in the woods, found a dead dollar, found a dead dollar. Walked in the woods, found a dead dollar, found a dead dollar. Walked in the woods, found a dead dollar, found a dead dollar.
So you out there might be wondering why I've started this episode with Dollar in the Woods by Spooky Ghost by none other than DJ Keemstar. Well, that's because I wanted to give a little bit of my own perspective on this hilarious YouTube drama that's taken the whole platform by storm recently. And I think I'm authorized to put my opinion out there because, as you can see right here, I have created some drama of my own on the PKA subreddit. That's kind of like a subsection of drama caused by the Keemstar H3H3 drama. First things first, the main drama. Keemstar's obviously been playing the heel of YouTube since his Bad Kid Cast days, or FAG, and people need to realize at this point he's just doing it because that is who he is. It's this character, or probably partially who he actually is, a douchebag. But like, he embraces it. You can't really expose somebody that's well known for being a douchebag. But on the flip side of that, H3H3, that man needs to get off his high horse. He's a clown. I really have never found him entertaining in my own opinion. Obviously, people do. That's their opinions. But what I can say is probably not just my opinion. He's never had a good take on anything. Whenever he talks about some dilemma or controversial topic, his take is always ice cold. It's weak. And honestly, his podcast is terrible. No one ever clicks on an H3H3 podcast to listen to him. It's always because he's able to get interesting guests like Papa John or iDubbbz, Video Game Donkey. And I know this is kind of mean, but fuck it. He's being mean to a bunch of other people. I cannot stand his weird, nervous, blinking tick. It kind of annoys me. So, fuck you, H3H3. You're not funny. And your opinion is worthless. So... But on the drama that I'm more interested in, Keemstar, 5-6 years ago, went after Woody's gamertag for live streaming Netflix with his family. And H3H3 recently used that as an example of why Keemstar is a bad guy, which we've all known he's a bad guy. It's his thing. But then Whiteboy 7th Street, my favorite YouTuber of all time, came in to defend Woody's gamertag. And then Woody's gamertag went back and dug up some old drama with Whiteboy, which is what I posted about on the PKA subreddit. You can go check that out and join in the conversation. I got Reddit gold off of that, just saying. But I 100% agree with Alex. I love that he's capitalizing off this drama. So shout out Whiteboy, and fuck H3H3 and Woody's gamertag for being idiots. But let's get into the music from this week. Sorry it's late. I kind of wanted to formulate this drama idea a little bit more, and I think it paid off because last night is when I got that post to go off. But there wasn't a lot of music this week, but most of it was really good. Fortunately, there was this one album released by FIFA YouTuber KSI, who is now a rapper, Dissimulation. And as I've seen other people say, this would be a really good album if you cut out all of the KSI parts. I just don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got the talent. I mean, he can definitely work on it. It's not something that you can't eventually reach. And he's definitely a lot better than his early La Lamborghini days. But still got a little ways to go. I appreciate that he was able to get all these big name features, but as it stands, not the greatest album ever. Maybe one of the greatest YouTube rapper albums ever, so he's got that going for him. Next up, we have Mazel Tov, a single by IDK and his tour member from last year's, or 2 years ago's, Mad Men tour, ASAP Ferg. So they have a little history together, and they pair very well in this Mazel Tov song. Another good single from IDK, following White T-Shirt, which I covered a couple weeks ago. So overall, very good singles for his next project. Next up, we have SOTL, or Silence of the Lambs, a new single by Ludacris, which I don't know if anyone was expecting a new Luda single in 2020, especially one featuring Lil Wayne, pretty much two of the only still popular early 2000s rappers we have left. And honestly, this might be one of the best songs I've heard all year, at least best singles. They both pop off. Ludacris spits some really hard verses, shows that he's just not a stupid actor in the Fast and Furious movies. He can still spit some bars like Will did last week. Luda's proving this week this man still got his game on. Next up, we have Human, a single by Snot. If you remember, I covered his project Tragedy a couple weeks ago, which I didn't love, but I do think this single is good. He features Night Lavelle on it, an artist who I'm sure you guys know I like a lot. I covered his project in a full-length review last year, so they have good chemistry together. Very sinister song, and I like the cover art. Very bizarre. Next up, we have the first single by the Migos this year that I've actually enjoyed, Taco Tuesday. The other ones are literally so forgettable. I can't remember what their names are, but the ones featuring Travis and the one featuring, I guess, just them, Rax Too Skinny, Taco Tuesday, all of it is hot garbage. But this song with Young Boy, Never Broke Again, is actually really good. Probably the best Migos song I've heard in a while. They switch bars in all the verses, so like Offset will say a bar, NBA Youngboy says one, and then Quavo and Takeoff switch off in the next verse. Very good, a good hook, a good beat. Overall, a good step in a more interesting direction than they were going in. Next up, we have a new single from Ian Dior, aka Walmart Juice WRLD, but being that he's kind of the only Juice WRLD imposter we have left, we might as well enjoy it. He has this song Prospect featuring Lil Baby, which is probably one of the better songs I've heard from Ian Dior. I haven't liked a lot of what he's released. I liked a couple of songs on his project from last year. Nothing's ever good enough, but overall it's been kind of, I don't know, really vanilla, kind of generic, kind of just a straight like clone of what a Juice WRLD song would be, but the song's pretty interesting. Lil Baby does his thing. Overall, I liked it. And next up, we have a new project from Hoodrich Pablo Juan, an artist who's pretty much stayed consistent the last couple years. In fact, I covered his project Blow in my very first Bigro's Tracks of the Week, which you guys can go back and watch. It's a fun little comparison to where we're at the moment. But his last project was probably the weakest one he's ever released, but he really stepped it back up with Hood Champ, where he reminds us that he can be consistent. I really enjoyed the first half of the album a lot more than the back half, but these first 8 songs, there's only 2 songs I didn't really feel. Overall, really good project. He switches up a decent amount, so give this a shot if you like Hoodrich from the past. Next up, we have Gunna's album, Wanna, an album that is supposedly based on his alter ego. Gunna's alter ego is Wanna. Yeah, that's it's pretty interesting. This might be one of the worst album covers I've ever seen, and this is coming from an artist who also has covers like Drift Season 3. Like, look at that. What in the... I don't know, Gunna's a little cuckoo, but overall, I really enjoyed this project a lot. I saved almost every song. Obviously, the single Skybox I covered a couple weeks ago, which I enjoyed, and overall, I think Gunna did his best work here. Probably the best project by far he's ever released. And I loved the little tidbit I heard before this album released, how Gunna was talking about how he really put a lot of thought and effort into every song, digging from his past experiences to really put himself out there. And then he described the story behind the first single here, Argentina, which is about when him and producer Wheezy were at a red light in LA, and then a Benz truck pulled up next to him with a couple of babes, and they hollered at him. But then all of a sudden, the light turned green and they had to go. So they're like, hey, yo, follow us to the studio. And then the Benz truck followed them to the studio. And when they got to the studio, turns out those babes are from Argentina. And then we got a whole song about it. Thank you for sharing your experiences, Gunna. Next up, we have Key Glock's project, Son of a Gun, where he also continues to prove how consistent he is. This year's earlier project by him, Yellow Tape, was very good, and this project continues. I think it's probably better than Yellow Tape, honestly. A lot of these songs, the flows are great. The beats are some of the most interesting I've heard on a trap project in a long time. FYTB is probably my favorite song overall, but the first 3 tracks all hit hard. And obviously there's some other good songs throughout the project, so give this a shot if you like just straight hard-hitting trap music, really simplified down to the roots but done well. And that's all the projects we had from this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Everything was really good. Even KSI, I mean, it wasn't like unlistenable. So give this a shot. Let me know down in the comments what your guys' opinion on the drama is. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one.
For my life, can't say that, girl. Don't tell me you could say that shit. All she want is payback for the way